They- I have no idea whether we're live or not.
I don't think we are. I don't see the channels active at the top.
It says
It
live.
says live.
So I think we are live. I hope we are live. We're going to check on Facebook or wherever we're checking. Could you guys check the YouTube accounts before we begin?
I don't think it's on my channel. I see Symmetry of Health live.
Okay, so we're live.
No, I'm live there too.
There, somebody said hello.
Hello.
Yep, we're there.
Hello, everyone. This is David Ellis, and today we have decided to hijack the Talking Stick show. Okay, and what that means is that we are going to be doing something special today. Today we're going to be doing a mind bending. We call this Light Worker Soup Day. So we're going to be asking you guys some really mind-bending questions. Our audience is going to probably answer or not. There are no right and wrong answers. This is fun, and we're going to keep it as fun, shall we?
Yes,
Yes.
we will be doing mind gymnastics and light worker submission moves.
You guys ready for the first
Yeah.
question?
Go ahead.
How would you know whether you were enlightened if you became enlightened? What would it feel like? How would you know? How do you know you're not enlightened now? These are the kinds of questions I want to know. Anybody jump in?
I'll start. How would you know if you're enlightened if you weren't enlightened?
Hmm.
Well, the first thing you do is you'd look at the world of shame, blame, and guilt, destruction, degradation, intolerance, and go, I can no longer watch those subject matters, for those look back at me, and go through a series of events that's cause you to see what brings you down and what puts you up, and here to what puts you up, make that part of your daily life so you can endure the journey of enlightenment, because we are enlightened in a moment and disenlightened in another moment. I myself have been enlightened 5 times in one day and unenlightened 5 times in the same day from all different subject matters. Every human being experiences it, but it's really about maintaining enlightenment long term.
Yeah, what he said. What he said.
Oh, you know I'm going to be problematic on this broadcast, right?
Yes.
All right. So most people think that enlightenment is some sort of standard stage that you reach in terms of the yogis. They say it's like nirvana, it's like samadhi, and you reach the stage and you just stay there like a sink full of water, and then you plug that hole, right? But I'm thinking to myself, let's say that you're this enlightened yogi who left your family and you ran up into the caves, and you walk out to the cave one day and you stump your toe against a pebble. Does the occasional shit F spit out of your mouth, or does it not? You see, these are the kinds of things that I wonder about. So, is enlightenment a static state, which is what Andrew
Well,
was
an
referring to?
enlightened person, yogi, would not stub their toe, have less than body awareness.
Oh, oh.
Mm.
Oh.
What if an evil person threw a stone on their toe? Would they say shit? F? Not that I'm
Again,
suggesting
the
not that I'm
enlightened
suggesting
master
anything.
guru would kick the stone back, make it bounce off of 5 walls, and hit the other person gently on the side
Revenge?
of the
Is
head.
that revenge we're dealing with there? We're dealing with revenge? No, anyway, guys, how would you know if you're enlightened or not? Anybody in the chat, tell us. Stop concentrating on Andrew's beard. He obviously shaved the beard because he became enlightened. Tell us.
Yes. Yes.
Literally.
Well, everyone has taken a good dump and been enlightened afterwards.
Right. As Andrew was talking, if I may, I'll add to it.
Mhm.
But as Andrew was talking, it reminded me a lot of the verb to if I were to enlighten myself, I would try to lighten the load on myself by removing things like shame, blame, guilt. Uh, I have a list of things that there's 16 splinters, and it's shame, blame, guilt, fear, hesitation, doubt.
Mhm.
If any of these things are weighing you down, in part of your life, then pretty easy to see that you're not actually enlightened. And when they're not there, you can literally feel lighter, just like taking a dump
Ooh.
or shaving. You just feel lighter.
Okay, Jason. So that to me, so do we use you use enlightened? Do we use the shadow part to become enlightened by removing it? By removing the false. No, look at David. He's shaking his head. No.
I know. I'm waiting to jump in on this in a moment.
I thought there weren't any wrong answers.
No, I'm waiting to jump in on this because I'm going to be problematic. Okay,
I know.
We're doing shit. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm trying to imagine you with a beard actually at this point. But anyway, right. My point is the thing about the whole enlightenment thing is that I think it might be different for different people. I think it might be different for different people, but I think that people think that this is some sort of static thing that just happens, right? And they have an idea of what it looks like. So to most people, enlightenment looks like you withdraw from society, you speak softer, right? You're in this little cave with little incense burning. You've grown your beard, like Jason there. You've grown your beard, right? And you've become a respected member of the society where everybody bows down to your grace and you have all this psychic stuff attached to you and so on. Listen, just yesterday I ate my first drop cherry, what you call cherry tomatoes. I became enlightened in that instant.
Yeah.
Okay. So that makes a big difference, right? But there are different kinds of enlightenment, which brings us to the next question. And this is the mind-bending question. You have a choice. I'm giving you guys a choice. You only get this choice once. There's no other time that you get this choice. You get this choice right now. To ascend to the highest level of awareness, to reintegrate with the prime creator, to get reintegration with God. But you got to shed that body now. Now, as in right now. You don't get a second chance. You don't get to talk to your family about it. You don't get to say goodbye to your pets, right? Or your creatures, or whatever the case may be. We're shedding it now.
No.
Do you take the choice, yes or no?
No. No.
Why? Let's hear it.
We're here to experience human life. Why would you want to go up there? We're going to be there eventually anyway, so enjoy life where it is.
Yep.
I still got shit to do.
Yeah.
You still got shit to do? Okay.
I got a world to take over in a positive way. I have a system that I want to outcreate, and I can't do it over there if I'm not boots on the ground here. I was born to be boots on the ground here, and if I go over there, I won't be able to do fun shows like this. I'll be on the outside going, come on, guys, do some inner work, listen to me, hello. Instead of me being in this world saying, do inner work, assholes, then you can hear spirit.
And
The
even fewer people would listen to you from over there.
Exactly.
Right.
The next question. The next question. You have a choice. And this is the choice that you have. It's either or. I like to, because I like to run up against people's belief systems. The choice is to make the 8 billion people sharing this planet with you enlightened, but you remain ignorant, or you become enlightened while the rest of the world stays as it is.
This is either or.
Oh, yes.
Either
Yes,
or?
it definitely is either or. Yes. Yes. I'm going to hum the Jeopardy theme song while y'all thinking about it.
Feels like martyr.
I think I'll be
Honestly, I'm
ignorant.
already in
Everyone
that
else can be
state.
enlightened.
Listen.
I'll just follow on their shirt strings.
I'm already in that state, David. I've achieved a state of enlightenment that it can't be enlightened anymore because I have to remain here with the people who have to figure out how to do it on their own while I'm trying to figure out how to help them do it on their own without stepping on their journey and still giving their journey the validation and respect that it needs. It's just they're so slow and I can only work so fast with the rules of reality. So I'm already there. My choice is already made for me.
So you're choosing to enlighten yourself then?
Yeah, but my limitation to enlightenment is limited to the lowest level of intelligence here. Because
Oh,
the
I
lowest
love
level of
having this.
intelligence here still maximizes out the intelligence. And the Great Awakening is what? Where everyone has a balance of equality.
Yes, these are very pretty concepts, but the fact of the matter is you choose to enlighten yourself. We're not talking to Andrew anymore. He's selfish. Guys, you guys,
Well,
tell me, Amy,
okay, I'm gonna say enlighten myself because
why?
this. Well, I'm just discovering this. It's like it's kind of fun to. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to discover things that you haven't known before.
Mm.
Wow.
So I think that doing it myself, it's an individual journey, right? Isn't that what
Yeah.
we say?
Hmm.
So
Any-
And in that individual journey is your free will.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And is there cheating in a free willed universe?
Yeah, there's cheating.
Who says one person's cheat is another exercise of intelligent free will?
Right.
So,
Tomato, tomato, tomatillo.
Tomatillo.
tell me, guys, you guys are enlightening the rest of the world. We're sharing a planet with 8 billion people. My question is, would you enlighten them and choose to stay in pseudo ignorance in order to benefit the rest of the planet? For those of you who are watching the show, Jessica, I see you're in there, as well as a whole bunch of other people.
Mhm.
Would you choose to enlighten yourself, or would you choose to enlighten the world? We're having that kind of a mind-bending show, and boy, I'm never going to run out of these questions. So you guys are in for the long haul today.
Wow. That's a slippery question.
I'm aware of that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go on the other side and say I'm going to choose to have everyone else enlightened except for me, because I value the process of learning so much that it feels like it's kind of heading in that direction anyway, and it always levels up. Like if everybody else is enlightened, then gives me another opportunity to grow. So I'll let everybody else keep raising the bar, and then I'll meet them.
Understood.
Okay, hold on.
Don,
I want to play devil's advocate for a second.
go ahead.
If I were to enlighten everyone else, is the world truly enlightenable?
Theoretically, yes. You're taking the questions and you're moving out to the parameters of the question. But theoretically, yes, and I'll tell you why. Right?
Okay.
We're assuming that there is a technology such that once applied to the planet can enlighten everybody else. You could call it happy pills. You could call it air conditioner, air conditioning, right? We could call it whatever. We're assuming that we make everybody transcend, right?
So if we're looking at the sub process of both David and myself and any of the other broadcasters, Laura, Maddie, Dale, all of us, we are trying to enlighten people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very long, arduous process to get them into self motivation, and then the journey to self enlightenment of doing the inner work. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I say how much of the world is enlightenable, or how much of the world is on the stage of unenlightenable, but can be taught carrot and stick, or revocation and prayer, etc., into their own enlightenment. That is a self illumination journey and not a forced enlightenment by a book.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's why I was trying to skip all of that. Just be enlightened, and then let's go to the next level together. Does that make sense? Because I'm
Yeah, it does.
still speaking in terms of what we began the conversation with if we lighten ourselves from all the mundane, all the burdens that we typically invite. If the load was lighter, I think we would be going someplace else. Anyway,
I
sorry.
can't.
But the load isn't lighter. The load is what it's going to be.
I can't wait for my next question because, oh boy, thank you for your answers. Let us fall straight into the next question.
Okay.
The next question pertains to the question of who would be enlightened and who would not be enlightened. So the concept of enlightenment that we think of as enlightenment, what if you found out definitively through personal and irrevocable experience that everything you believed in was a lie and not true? There is no astral plane. There is no anything. We're just accidents in the universe. Would you be the same way? Would you do the same things? Yes or no? What if you found out, and this is a question that breaks into the mind where fanaticism is concerned. What if you found out through irrevocable experience, your personal irrevocable experience, that everything you believed in is not true? There is no other plane. We're just locked here in this casing and we're an accident of the universe. The Big Bang happened and we are just happening here right now.
Atheist delight.
Right? I want to know, would you do the same things? And you guys in the chat, please comment on this.
I will reserve my answer till the end. I'm waiting to tip of my tongue off, and I don't want to lose it.
That's a shitty answer there, right? Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me, would you do the same thing? Oh, by the way, Don, there is no afterlife. We die and that's it. We're just casings that drop like weeds. All right?
Well, that's not my experience, so that's what's hard because I know.
Yeah, I know. This is that kind of show. This is that kind of show. We're going deep. We're doing the mind drills right now.
So what if there is no God? Is that what you're saying?
What if there is no God? There is no afterlife. There is no astral plane. There is no galactic history. This is just a massive accident that just waiting to end.
Well, life's an illusion, right? So maybe that's true. Who knows? Would I do anything different? No. I would just continue going with what I'm going through. I wouldn't change my beliefs because beliefs are just thoughts, right? And if you just rethink things, you can change a belief on whatever. If you had proof that there was nothing existed, so be it. Nothing exists.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't operate under a carrot on a stick anyway, and I'm having a great time. I feel like life is a moment to moment thing, and I wouldn't change anything except maybe turn it up a notch and go in different directions with a different zeal, but not zealotous, because I prefer balance between the things as they are. But yeah, no, I wouldn't change.
Amy, let's hear it.
Yeah. Well, what I was thinking was I've already changed my beliefs, and I will just continue to keep changing my beliefs as I see fit. That's okay. That's how I see it. Kind of like roll with it.
What does that mean?
Roll with it for myself. Roll with it would be like, if all of a sudden all my beliefs up until now were gone, okay, let's make some new ones.
Like what?
I don't know.
Like what?
I don't know.
It's a giant accident. I gotta ask them questions. Inquiring minds want to know what you believe you're gonna come up with in this concept. Because if there is no God, as Maty said, there is no consequence, which means
we could do anything.
My man.
We could party. We could do whatever.
Like it's 1999.
Yeah.
No,
we could bring Prince back and everything.
You do realize our belief systems are what keeps us in absolute check, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because if it wasn't for our belief systems, the things that we would do.
All right. So you have to put your answer in now.
Yep.
That exact question you make stated was given to me as a, let's just say, vision in the unlimited perception and point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So what if none of it was real? Well, if none of it was real, how would we prove we are real?
That's just the point. It's an ontological problem.
There's more to it. As I said, I was given this exact choice as part of the journey to understanding the unlimited point of view. there will be those beings who do believe that, who will create a non-existence for themselves and erasure of their memories. They may be reborn again, or they may not. It may be the end of that thing, because our beliefs do matter and do transfer into the layered realms of perception. And then there are the layered realms of perception that are beyond the physical living soul, who still adhere to the physical beliefs of the being. So when the being crosses over, it goes into nothingness, the void, etc., because that's where the soul's journey began from and ended to. But at the same time, the soul is a multidimensional, multifunctional, photonic being existing in many dimensions, time zones, galaxies, and universe, simultaneously experiencing nothingness and everyness simultaneously. So it isness, wasness, or werness can create a presentation and a projection of its presentation from an isness to a wasness to a nothingness to a void space, from a void space to an everythingness.
Okay, I'm going to translate that into English
Yeah.
so that people understand what you just said. Andrew's talking about the concept of everythingness. Now I'm going to challenge. I'm trying not to get into deep philosophy with you. You see me? I'm trying not to, but I'm going to go there. The concept of everythingness means that we are existing in that reality that I just spoke about right now.
And
right?
I had to accept it
Nothingness
as part of
reality.
the vision. And I had to accept it as part of the vision as real, or go no further in my enlightenment journey.
Yep, correct. So here's the problem that we are having. If we are existing as multidimensional beings and we are existing in a sort of quantum infinite reality, that is a reality that we have to come to terms with. And to be able to shift into that reality and contemplate it is necessary for your growth. It absolutely is. So for those of you who are out there saying, David, I wish you would shut up. I hate you. Don't ask any more questions. I want you all to consider that maybe everything you believe in is not true.
Just an addendum. All of the void space teachings, Unentangled Observer, all came from the fact that I accepted nothingness as a point of existence.
Mm-hmm.
A whole set of teachings came from that, from the multidimensional awareness.
You guys get that? You guys are following us so far, which leads me into my next problematic question. Oh my God, I'm full of, like, you could tell that I'm very idle, right? I sit down and in this quantum realm of infinite possibilities, what if you found out, and listen to me very carefully, what if you found out in every dimension in time and space, you were a complete loser? What if you found out in every dimension of time and space, you failed in every dimension of time and space?
That
Is
would
a
still
possibility.
make me the winner of losers.
That would make you the winner of losers, correct? Right? That every possibility leads to failure. If you knew that as a conscious thought right now, what would you do differently?
Fail bigger.
Huh.
Than any other space. I see. Yeah, I get that.
Because in failure, there are new teachings to learn from.
Mm-hmm.
The
Correct.
bigger they are, the harder they fall. Well, you make yourself as big as possible and engineer the failure.
Mm-hmm. Because then at least you have the opportunity for growth. I get it. Listen,
There's
why did I invite Andrew on this freaking show? Moving right along.
We like him on the show.
Like, okay, guys. All right. So, Amy, if you found out you were a failure in every dimension, what would you do differently?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. This is hard because what is a loser? A loser is different to everybody.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. If I fractured your existence right now and
Yeah.
you could see the mirrors of all your thing, and all you're seeing is hooker, druggie, right?
Are those losers?
Criminal, right? You see me fracturing all the way down. Hooker, druggie, whatever. That's all you're seeing right down the line, right? You don't see no president of the United States, no princess, whatever from Egypt, no any of that kind of shit, right? Every reality, every birth and death has led to catastrophe. What would you do differently?
I would try to pick myself up and move on and try to be better.
How?
I don't know because I don't remember what it's like to be a prostitute. I don't know.
Wait. What did you
Welcome to
just
rock and
say?
roll.
What the hell did you
Man.
just say,
You
Amy?
told me I was a prostitute. I'm looking at the drug dealers. You told me to look down the mirror of my existence, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously, I've done it. Look.
Wait. We're talking in the world of infinite possibilities here, right?
Well, obviously. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know.
I love this show. I
know because it's mind bending. My mind is bent. My mind is bent.
But you know that if I took over this talking shit for this week, it's going to be some
I know. I knew I was in trouble.
right.
But-
So we're twisting the minds of the audience. What would you guys do differently? We're bending stuff. One person says, "I would forgive myself and move on." Move on from what?
I have a slightly different perspective on failure. If I'm that big of a failure, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, that seems like a very entertaining lifetime. It's a lot of parties, a lot of
Thank you,
sex,
Andrew.
a lot of drugs, a lot of meeting people, a lot of failed datings. And when that life is over, man, did I learn a lot about failure.
And a lot about drugs, and a lot about
There you
dating, and a lot
go.
A
about
lot
all of
about
that
sex
stuff.
and a lot. I could think it could be no matter how much failure there is, there's still going to be a lot of experience.
Correct. Perspective shifting. So, guys,
Wait,
the
I'm
next question.
still confused about the loser though. You said if you're a loser in all dimensions.
Yeah, what would you do differently? Andrew's concept is that he would change the perspective of loser and be the best loser that he can be, which is in itself a success.
A success. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So that is one way of going about it. But then the next question is going to be, and yeah, I got more questions. I got more questions. Okay. So the Bible, Matthew 9:29 says, yes, I'm quoting the Bible because it's going to be that kind of show. It says, unless a man is willing to forsake his friends, his family, his sons, his land to follow me, then he cannot be a follower of mine. So my question is, for this, I'm going to adapt this. What if you were given the choice to gain enlightenment as a surety, absolute surety, but in order to do that, you had to give up your friends, family, everybody, and don't try to add it to the dimension. I'm talking to you, Andrew. Don't add to this dimension of that question. What if you had to give up your family, your friends, your pets, everything, but you were going, and this is the only way you can transcend?
Like
Would
a
you
yogi,
choose to give
the
them
cave,
up?
like the cave, Bodhidharma's cave, where he gave up everything.
Yes. I don't know why they call him body dharma, because really and truly, never mind. I'm not going to be offensive, right? As I was saying, if you wanted to become transcendent, you had to give up everything: friends, family, your lands, your possessions, and so on. Would you do it?
This is live, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is very much live. So anything, it will be cemented in history for the rest of time, right? So tell us.
Well, that's what an ashram is, right? Ashram is you give up everything and you just go and be.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not in an ashram, so that's not for me. I wouldn't want to do it.
No.
You would give up transcendence?
I would give up transcendence.
Okay, go ahead. Amy, what would you do?
Yeah, I would do the same. Give it up.
Because you're not giving up Holly Hobby, that's why?
I'm not giving up her. No.
Okay. Holly Hobby is Amy's doll. She had it in Charlotte. All right, Jason, you giving it up, or you staying where you are?
I'm struggling here, David, because we started with this enlightenment is not an event. It's not worthy of an event status. It's a process. But right now, the process of being more enlightened is very tempting versus all of the things that are in life that are actually getting me there already.
Mm-hmm.
the girlfriend, the parents, the struggling, this monotony. I know that it's getting me there, but damn. I mean, yeah, I'll give it up. I'll take transcendence right now.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So inside the chat we have Tina
Hold on.
Teen.
I haven't given an answer yet.
No, I realize you're gonna expand it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna try not to expand it.
Hmm.
So, in the journey of the choice,
You
I
just
would look at
expanded
the
it.
previous examples in religious history
Hmm.
where they gave it up and they lived in the cave, etc.,
Hmm.
etc., etc. But I also understand if I chose a transcendence, I would leave a teaching behind, and it would be like I never left. So either
Understood.
way, I can stay or go, and the same thing will happen in the end.
Mm.
Hmm.
Well, the
Okay.
Dharma teachings did pass on to everyone, and he did live in a cave for 100 years.
Now I'm going to ask you a morality question. This is a morality question. You remember the story of Abraham and Isaac and Ishmael? The prime creator, all your visions, everything else that is with you, and this is a mind bending question, says that if you do not terminate, aka unalive, a family member, that family member will bring untold destruction and seriously impede the world's progress, including your own. We're talking about your Hitler's mother here, okay?
Yeah.
We're talking about The Omen if you watch that movie. You remember that movie? Now, my question is, given the spiritual principle of non-violence for some spiritual paths, ahimsa, all right? Given the spiritual principle of non-violence, you are saving 6 million people from being gassed in chambers. What is the choice that you take? By now, that site says, "Oh shit! I really should have just. I should have. I'm never coming on any invitation and it's out again." Right? What is the decision that you take? Because that's a very hard decision to make. Right? We're talking.
Say it again in another way, please.
Okay. All right. Quite simply put, um, you need to kill one of your family members and save 6 million people from dying horribly in gas chambers. What is your choice?
Well, it depends.
It depends on whether you like them or not. No, no.
Yes.
No, I heard that thought loud in your head. Depends on whether you like them or not. No, no. You don't get to choose whether you like them or not. Go ahead.
Wow, to say, I don't know, because sometimes it depends. That's a tough one. I want to say yes, I would, to save 6 million people,
Mm-hmm.
but then you think, why am I doing this? Because we're here
Mm-hmm.
for our own individual person.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the 6 million people should try to save themselves.
Oh, that's I could take that one of two ways, Amy.
Okay, I don't
I could take that one of two ways. Like, how insensitive is this woman?
I don't know.
We are definitely getting banned off
Are
of
we?
Rumble, YouTube, everywhere.
I know.
When a certain community that I will not mention on this thing sees this
No,
this
it's
broadcast.
a good debate because she's trying not to have the savior complex.
Yes,
Correct.
Part of
Correct.
the
it.
He has a very good point of view there. My point is, guys, what would you do? That's a difficult question. It's a morality question.
So
Because
in this morality question, how much real vision do we have?
you have the full vision of what the future holds.
Okay.
Like the Omen. You have the full vision and
you eliminate this person from the time stream, this entire negative time stream doesn't exist.
Correct.
Well, I wouldn't do it because then I would be a god or a master, and I'm not a god or a master over anyone else.
Understood. Good point, Andrew. My question, however, is in terms of the moral perspective.
Morally, I wouldn't do it because I would have superior moral authority over everyone else, which would immediately corrupt me.
Understood.
Yeah.
Because I would do it again and again and again, because inevitably it's going to happen again and again and again.
Guys, anybody else?
My
And
gut.
that is what's being done to us in a modern sense.
Yeah, I'm about to expand this in a little bit, Andrew, but I'll let everybody else jump in on this.
I know I wouldn't. Even though there were 6 million people at risk, I wouldn't be able to do that myself personally.
Understood. So my question, I suppose my question is, in the unlimited perspective, you see, this can go around and around as we talk about it. Andrew's perspective is that he wouldn't do it because this is an event that, in the general scheme of time, is probably an event that needs to happen for a greater good to come out of it. Okay, all right, which is why I tried to lock down this discussion, because I know Andrew was in this chat. I tried to lock down this discussion to limited points of view, all right, but it's not happening. So let's go to the unlimited points of view. If you were to stop that family member from executing this plan, yes, the event wouldn't happen and it may repeat itself. But in the central point of view, what is the most moral thing to do? Because I know a lot of people are spiritual people, but they do not think about the concept of morality. What does morality mean to you is the next question. What does morality mean to you? What does that word mean to you? Andrew, go last. Go last, Andrew. Tell me, what does morality mean to you?
I think I'll respond to it in terms of the last question. So immediately when I hear a question like that, my gut says you can't do that, and it's built on once you step on another person's journey that much, and you eliminate, you can just feel the wrongness in that act, even if it does have 6 million like benefits to it. That is part of what the answer to this question is. Your morality speaks to you right away.
So morality to you is an intuitive feeling of the right and wrong. Is that what you're saying?
I believe that's close to what I'm trying to.
It's a feeling.
Articulate.
It's a feeling.
Yeah.
To knowing.
Okay. So let me ask you a question, Jason. Your girlfriend comes in a dress that is clearly not for her. We're talking about full stripper outfit, right? You're about to go to the office party. All right. This woman has been trying to get into this dress. She's been going to the gym for over 2 years, right? In that instant, do you tell her you look really bad in that dress, or do you lie?
Oh no, I tell her that you look bad in that dress. We have to figure something else out.
Unless it's a costume. Unless it's a costume.
Is your girlfriend watching this broadcast right now?
She will be.
She will be. All right.
But my next move obviously would be to put her in the right dress that has the thing.
I hear feminists screaming all over the planet right now. You know that, right? That last statement. Guys, I'm getting everybody in trouble, apparently. Amy, what does morality mean to you?
Yeah, I agree with Jason. It's a gut feeling type of thing, for me. But then I think, okay, well, if I think this is bad and other people don't think that's bad, then I guess it's just my morality and no one else's, right? It's just mine. It doesn't matter what other people do, but I would stand up and do what I feel is right for me.
Okay, Dawn, what does morality mean to you?
It's a feeling of something that I'm able to live with and be able to sleep at night. If there's something that I don't feel is right for me, then I can't do it because I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
So it's an individual process for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, And it's so far we've had, yeah, I'm coming to you. So far we've had individual, and we've had intuitive feeling, deep sense of feeling, and right and wrong. I'm about to become problematic. Andrew, what has morality been to you?
So morality comes with a number of hiccups and personal traps. There's the morality that the ego is involved in it, and it gives you moral authority over others.
Mm-hmm.
There's the morality that the martyr has to save others and destroy thyself.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is morality without anything else attached to it,
Mm-hmm.
which is the complete neutral point of view, where it's not about the morality itself. It's about the endurance
Mm-hmm.
of challenges to the morality that come day by day, week by week, subject by subject. Save a million one day, steal a piece of bread to feed my children, risk getting caught and having my hands cut off.
Correct.
So moral authority without ego does exist, but that's on a much more higher plane of enlightenment where we don't truly have the authority over others here. We are not our brothers or sisters' keepers. But at the same time, there is a neutral morality that says the learning process of morality means we must choose free will, even if that puts us into charge and polarity. So individual subject matters and the individual definitions are the growth we may need to go through, because that was a real choice for the Abraham thing, etc. But ultimately, what did God do at the end?
Yes.
What was the
He said,
twist?
and God acted immorally in that sense because he said psych. You see the problem because our understanding of what morality is flies in the face of God, or what our conception of God is, and even in the concept of the prime creator. Here's the problem with morality.
It
Nature is
changes
not,
to each subject matter. It changes to each subject matter.
yeah, the problem with, yes, and here's the problem, because if you are nature and the way you operate is brutal and cruel, absolutely by our human standard, right? If you are a supreme being from the Bible, like you wiping out entire cities because somebody dissed you, seriously? Right? You wiping out entire cities because somebody dissed you. Some guy you want to say, I don't know whether you're faithful or not, so kill your son for me. And the guy has to do it. Right? In his heart, the guy is saying, this is an immoral act. Killing my son is immoral. Abraham, remember that guy? Do we have bad Christians in the crew here? Well, okay, all right. So let me go over the story for you, for those of you who don't understand what we're talking about. In the Bible, there's this guy. His name is Abraham. He lived for a very long time, right? And so God wanted to test his ability to be faithful to him. So God says to him, "Yo, that son that you have there, that Isaac guy, yeah, I want you to sacrifice him." If sacrifice in this sense means stick a dagger through his heart and tear his heart open, okay? And Abraham is having a moral conflict inside, okay? Do you follow what the prime creator in his sense of the word, because we call it the prime creator, they call it God, it doesn't really matter what we call it, right? This unlimited being. And he has to choose whether or not he is going to kill his own son. So he has a moral dilemma. Okay. So my question is, who is being immoral in that sense? Whatever overlord is looking at Abraham is like, yeah, psych, I don't need you to kill your son. I just wanted to check and see if you were all faithful. That sounds weird as shit, doesn't it? It
Yes.
seems
Yeah.
pretty bad, doesn't it? So what is morality in that sense? You know, that's the problem. So for you spiritual people, depending on the timeline that we are looking at, okay, I want you to understand that about 2,000 years ago, what was moral for spiritual people to do, you don't want to have nothing to do with. Okay? The highest spiritual people in the Mayan and Aztec empires were stabbing people in the chest. Okay?
80, 90,000 at a time.
Okay? They were stabbing people in the chest. What was moral for spiritual people in every generation changes.
Mhm.
So what is moral for you now? You say, okay, well, you say, okay, it's an intuitive feeling, but an intuitive feeling is framed by your experiences, no?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what if your growth in life was you've been a warlord your entire life, and your intuitive energy is to do murder, do harm, and that's where you source joy from because that was a big part of the world growing up the last 2,000 years.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Ashoka is a good example of that, right? This
Hmm.
man killed an entire continent and then decided to become Buddhist afterwards.
Yeah,
I mean, like my man killed his way across an entire continent. And what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about 2,000 people. I'm talking about a whole continent. Okay?
yeah.
And then he decided, oh, maybe I shouldn't have killed so many people. I'll become Buddhist now. So if you see some, so if you see some guy all strung out, that might be Ashoka walking down the road, right?
So let me take
Reincarnated, paid off that karma.
let me take a stab
Hmm.
at this morality thing.
Okay.
Morality is a truly human living concept.
Mm-hmm.
God, as the form of spirit, before he said psych, wanted to know if he would do it or not. As he was going to do it, he said psych. What if he had lost faith in God by ordering him to do the immoral act and had killed him?
Here's the problem with this. Okay. God, in that instant, when you're asking somebody to kill their son, is acting immorally and out of his own um, moral code, which is the Ten Commandments, right? I
Which
don't
have
want to
never been adhered to
which had never been in it because everybody killing everybody, right? So,
in the name of God.
in the name of God. And so here's the problem that I am faced with. Morality is such a diverse topic depending on who you are. Apparently, if you're a supreme being, you get to kill a whole bunch of people and do a whole bunch. You get to kill, rape, pillage. We don't even want to get back into the old the things that spiritual people believe in. So if you're a spiritual person and you say that, oh, I'm a witch, I believe in the Olympian religion. We have a Greek sitting here who could tell you how many people Zeus raped. Okay, how many women Zeus raped? If you say, well, I'm like Orisha, I believe in the African religions and the religions of the Yoruba. Shango has a bad temper and kills a whole bunch of people just because you standing there. Collateral damage. Depending on who you are, if you are nature, you get to kill little baby birds in the snow. Okay, you get to do that
To
shit.
then become fertilizer for birds or food for something to eat off the ground from carrion, etc., etc. There is a bigger perspective here. Now, my second stab at this process,
Mhm.
as God is saying, go and do this immoral act, even though it's very morally normal for during that time to kill someone in the name of God. Okay? So neither way is it. It's actually not a morality choice. It's a love choice. Can I kill something I love?
Yep.
It's not a morality
Right.
choice at that point for me. It's a love choice.
Is all morality choices, which is the next question, which is the follow up, are all morality choices based in a choice of love or not love?
Well,
Question.
let's look at gambling for a second.
Hmm.
I would say at that particular point, it isn't about love or non-love or morality. It's about the gambling itself.
Yeah, but the person could love gambling.
Sure, but there are plenty of people that don't love gambling but have lost fortunes, right?
Then doesn't it beg the question about whether or not you love yourself or something else first?
Correct. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Because then it is a self love that is a twisted kind of self love. Like in this moment, I am happy rolling the dice, and
Which is a
therefore,
moral authority we have to bind the other philosophical subjects to not give us nagging inner thoughts.
correct. You know, I'm going to follow up a very mind bending question. Is all spirituality trying to run away from reality? Listen to me very carefully before you answer this
it
question.
is. They're running from one reality to a new reality they're trying to create through
Okay,
the
so
old reality rules.
yeah, I get it, but it's still running away from reality. Is all spirituality people, a bunch of people trying to run away from their reality? Question.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, undoubtedly yes.
Hmm. Is that a
Each
good thing?
person's journey to the running is different, but it's still running.
Yeah.
Some
It's-
walk, some hobble, some have walkers and canes.
So go ahead.
I'm thinking, like, as you posed the question, David, I saw the horse. That in my spiritual understanding of the horse now, I see it running and carrying a message to other lands of spirituality, to other places. And in that sense, I think spirituality does run, from place to place. It runs freely, and it does have that verb behind it. I think it's able, but it sounds like we're talking about, are we trying to escape something? Did I misunderstand?
No, let's say you're experiencing a reality. In your reality, there's gelato, there's vanilla, there's fudge ice cream and stuff like that. You get up, you go do what you have to do. You have your season from God knows from March to October. This is your reality.
Hmm?
Is your adoption of spirituality you trying to run away from the reality that you are experiencing now?
That's interesting. No, I say no, even though I have tried to use spirituality to run away from the reality I have now. There's an integration of experience that you want to take, the message of all that you've learned. Just as I answered,
Mhm.
I'm learning everything from these people in my life, and yes, I would abandon them for transcendence. So I'm actually contradicting.
You know, I'm holding it in. I'm holding it in. Go ahead.
But yeah, learning to integrate the things that you've learned, and to reflect back on, what it's the desires that it's caused in you, that you've
Mhm.
found corresponding freedoms and release in. So the bind found this, and now it's about homage. Like you and Dawn spoke the other day about, don't turn down your first, your original clients. And there's something in that sentiment. Don't forget what you've
Mhm.
been through. Don't forget where you are. And if it's just ice cream and that struggle,
Yeah.
you do want to pay homage to, where you come from, I think.
So you're gonna make it an enlightened snow cone?
I'd
Yes.
buy that. I would definitely buy that. And I'm vegan, so I don't like. So that's a
So
big.
it'll be a self-licking ice cream cone.
We just need the right serum. It's yes, pretty much. It's gonna, lick itself, and you'll watch, and then you'll be able to taste it as it's licking itself.
Uh-huh.
You know,
I just went as crazy as Andrew. I was just trying to hang in there.
all right. So my question. Well, I guess I'm going to follow up that question. What is spirit? Hold on. Actually, you know what? Let's make this into an exercise. Everybody, close your eyes for 1 second. Imagine your concept of God, the prime creator, everythingness, universality. Imagine it for a moment. Imagine it for a moment. Good. Open your eyes. Describe it to me. Describe everything. Dawn, you want to go? You're going to have a stab at this?
It's really interesting. I actually saw a period, like a dot. I
Mhm.
don't know what that meant, but I
You
just
call it
felt this overwhelming love with a period, like the infinite zero is what I was feeling.
the infinite zero.
Mm.
You mean like the monad that that is described? Amy, tell me.
Yeah. Well, mine felt very warm and sparkly.
People in the chat, put what your experience of God was when I asked you to close your eyes. All right,
Sparkly
Jason, go
yellow.
ahead.
I also saw a dot, and it reminded me of just something far off, but it has a completeness to it. It's a complete feeling.
Mhm.
All right, so I saw a spiraling Fibonacci sequence that had all the frequencies of time layered within it with all my simultaneous existence, and how God was every part of those simultaneous existence working with me and through me without competition for the greater purpose of expanding God's ability to be in any dimension, time stream, galaxy, or universe. But it also led to an endpoint where I became God's source and source God because we're all one and the same. And it also led that there are more than one prime creators. There are multiple prime creators in multiple galaxies, and that there's a fallacy in the unlimited universe that there's a single prime creator.
I'm going to translate that for the audience in case you don't mind. What Andrew's describing is a magnified dot.
Yeah, that was the up close of the dot.
So, guys, my next question, my next question
Hold on,
is
hold on.
is
In
why do
that
you,
magnified dot, there were two dots, not one dot.
Mhm.
And
Two.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of dots.
it might be because of that sparkly wall behind
Sparkly.
you.
I know.
Right. All right. So, guys, the next question is a question of the body. It has long been since held that the body is necessary for spiritual growth. We incarnate, we experience the world, etc. Okay. My question is a very substantive one. If it is that we are incarnated in this body and part of our experience is to experience death, which means that this thing is temporary, what kind of design is it that we are experiencing different kinds of death? And what, in your conception, is to be learned in the death process? I notice I said death process. Yes, I know. Everybody's like, I am never coming back on one of these stupid shows again. I mean, I hate you right now. I don't want you all to talk. We're not talking anymore. What is the lesson to be learned from the death process? What do we gain from it? Why don't we just live? Because we're experiencing this reality. So why don't we live? But we're dying many times. Some people get run over. Some people
Part,
get executed.
part of human existence is to be finite and not infinitely infinite.
Yes,
Because
but if
within
you, but
finite are unique experiences and subject matters that allow the infinite to remain infinite.
yes, but the question I'm asking is how many deaths, how many rebirths, what is the learning process there? What does it look like? What does it look like?
In the journey of each death is the revelation of what took you to be born and the comparison and contrast of previous lifetimes, positive, negatives, neutrals, experiences, and the value of each individual experiences and the amount of life we could procreate so that when we came into the next lifetime, we have a legacy for the spirit that's being born over and over again in that infinite cycle, in the infinite cycle of micro to macro creation, in a community of souls who are in master micro macro communication, not in a singular perception, but in a multi-dimensional, multi-celestial frequency, putting evolution of souls on a particular journey, which we would call an era of light, in which a master group of souls graduates from learning the double school of hard knocks at Earth, or whatever it took for a journey to learn life and death as a long cycle or era of experience for a
Okay,
mass amount of souls who are maintaining the infinite point of view.
so let's turn this into a exercise, shall we? If you guys are triggered by death, then don't listen to this as this part of the broadcast. Okay? Put me on mute. The exercise is a very simple one. The exercise requires you to close your eyes and imagine the death process now. Tell me what you are learning. Oh no, no, no. He's okay, not you, Don. I said not you. Don't do this. You specifically don't do this. For the rest of us,
Yeah.
right? We're not open to that kind of experience. Put this broadcast on mute for the next. Amy, you out of this.
Boy,
Step out of this. Put this broadcast on mute for the next 10 to 20 seconds. Close your eyes and experience the death process now. What does it look like? What are you learning in that instant? You have, well, let's give them 30 seconds, shall we? Go ahead. For those of you who want to, I mean the people in the chat, close your eyes for 30 seconds now. Feel that death process. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Amy, you're really going to do this?
I know.
Right?
I,
What are you learning?
The struggle of life.
The limitations of your physical body.
yeah,
Hmm.
like a tug of war.
I've seen, like, I've been with people that have died and crossed over, and then with my business, I see it all the time because I'm reliving people the way people have died so that I can relay it to my customers. And I've seen so many enlightened information that's come through for them. Sometimes it's peaceful, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's tragic. They didn't even know they died. So it's quite an interesting process when you see people that have been killed in a immediate motorcycle accident, for instance. They didn't know they were dead, and it took a while for them to actually process to get over on the other side.
Yeah, which is why I told you to step out of this one. All
Yeah.
right, because because I know what that does to mediums,
Yeah.
guys.
I actually have to leave, unfortunately. I've got another commitment, but I just wanted to thank you for allowing me to be on here.
Thank you,
Thank you, Don.
Take it easy. Good meeting you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So Ethan Vaught has made a contribution, yay, on YouTube. Did you know that, Andrew?
Yep,
I
I saw
think
it.
I don't know how do I put this show on the thing. Let's put this on screen. I think of the liberation of death often, the removing of a tight shoe revelation, answers to all our major and minor questions if duly earned. Justice. So, Ethan, my question, oh, I'm going to ask you a question, right, Ethan? My question is it always a revelation?
No. Sometimes it's a remembering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I want to take a stab at the what it looks like and feels like. I have done what the other lady's done and had my own journey in the life and death process and the reincarnation process. The first thing a soul goes through when the death ticker ticks is the journey into fear.
Mm-hmm.
If one is able to turn off the journey of fear and turn it into a joy of love for the moment,
Mm-hmm.
you have new courses of experience opening to you in the death process. If one stays in fear, the death process will show us our mistakes, how we could have fixed them, perceptions and points of view from other people we may have done good or bad with. So let's say opening the door for a young person. When as a young person, I opened the door for an old lady, and 2 days later she died, and that was on her mind. Somebody did good.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole infinite realm of possibilities that comes from our good actions, our bad actions, and our inactions. On that journey of fear, our inactions will show first, and then our bad actions will show last, because fear is not to amplify fear. Fear is about us to learn what we did, good, bad, and indifferent in this lifetime, and not to weigh it with justice at the end, but to weigh it as an experience that we be able to take to a future life, where when the I am is said and done and the body is gone and there is no coming back, and we are just a soul that has that aspect that has lived, we will upload the record of what it took to be us and what we learned about us. And then that record will be available the next time the soul is going to spawn. And us, the former consciousness, the I am, will simply be counselors to the next one who's going to take up the challenge of the legacy of internal living.
The other point of view
Mm.
from this side of the fence that we have to take into consideration is that death is also kind of like our concept of morality, a regulator for us. Let me ask you guys a question and ponder this, because this is the mind bending show. We said anything goes, but really and truly, this should be called a mind bending show. What if you knew definitively, definitely, that there was an afterlife, that when you died, your soul would go on? Let's say you knew that you were a soul. You didn't believe you had a soul. You knew definitively. Do you think that your morality and the way you act would be different? What if everybody in the world, I snapped my fingers and everybody saw the reality after this life, this incarnation? Do you think that they would act differently? Do you think the suicide rate would increase dramatically?
For a short period of time, it would dramatically increase for those who can't handle that truth. Or that is the truth that's more adherable to them because they've made nothing for themselves here, or the world was too tough for them.
Hmm.
On the other hand, there'll be those that have got that proof and eventually will deny it because it's too challenging to their reality. And then there are those that remain who know it's true, who know they have to change in a world still surrounded by complete and total corruption. And how does one who knows about the greater journey live and operate in a world of total corruption?
There's a question on the screen right now. So, what about the made legislation in Canada? Medically assisted dying without going through the sickness, illness, or journey. Then what happens? That's a very good question. That's Bonnie Be Good.
I'll tell you what happens. Eugenics happens. That's you put that law in. That sets up eugenics.
It does.
Period. It sets up eugenics. If you're not in the DNA pool, poof, you're dead. That's what it sets up.
Here's the problem with that law, Bonnie. Um, I understand that there are people who are dying of cancer, and I didn't want to make this show deep. Well, yeah, I wanted to make this show deep, but I didn't want to make this show dark. So here's the problem with that. If you set up that legislation, there is a good and a bad result. The good result is that people who are genuinely suffering, we cannot um, determine for them how they go out, because we're living in an unlimited possibility situation. So the way you go out, like deliberately ending your life, whether it be assisted by the state or whatever else, can be a good thing for people who are genuinely suffering. But in this incarnation, we understand that there is a program afoot a lot of the times to control the way people live and the way people die as well. Okay. And the dangers of legislating something like this, as opposed to on a case by case basis, is that a whole bunch of people are going to choose that option and abuse it.
Mhm.
Like,
But that pool of people will immediately thin itself out.
correct. Like, as an example, to make the show a little bit lighter, Andrew shaved his beard today. I think I might need maid. Right?
Honestly,
You know,
David,
you never
once
know.
again, it thins out the pool and makes this more about eugenics.
You know,
Mm.
this is a problem, and legislating as to the birth or death, I think things should be done on a case by case basis and not necessarily on a holistic, like across the board basis, because the truth of the matter is people's lives are hard, and if you squeeze them enough, they're going to choose death, especially when they figure out, hey, wait, this death that you're offering me is painless and actually pleasant. I get high and everything before. Yeah, I'm going to choose that. That I want. I'm going out in style. Okay. Now I had about 2 or 3 weeks ago, a friend of mine had a cousin of hers choose maid, right? Because in Canada, if you live here now, the possibility that you will know somebody who has some relative or some friend who's taken maid is greatly increased. I want to tell you that the energy coming off of that person was not a good, happy energy. It was a dark kind of energy. I see it in the way this thing is processing. There's something very mechanical about it, right? And I don't like it necessarily. But the truth of the matter is there are people who are suffering and they probably need it. But if you are depressed, as an example, and you want to end it all, I do not recommend that. Do the work. Do the work. Get your shit together. And for the professionals out there who are going to be watching this, counsel these people. You just want a life easy because it's cheaper if they just simply end it.
Oof.
Right? Because it's a matter of economics a lot of the times. And I have I'm going to take a little segue here from the show. I have my reservations. If you are depressed and if you are chronically depressed, then that is a lesson that you need to learn. You need to learn to dig yourself out of that hole. The problem is it's a question of economics. And Andrew, this is what the economics is. I've run the numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I have to send you to a psychiatrist or a psychotherapist over a period of time, up to a year or so, the accumulated cost per visit, right? We're talking about $800 a month, is cheaper than injecting something into your arm and getting rid of you. It comes down to a question of economics. And we are seeing the brutality of the healthcare system really it's not going well. It's not going well here, and it's not going well in the world. It is easier to kill people than to care for them, and that is brutal.
That has been a truth since the dawn of human existence, and has been a moral question over and over and over again that every generation faces.
Mm-hmm.
Now, somebody was asking about eugenics.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are you familiar with the Georgia Guidestones? Reduce the population of people to 500 million. Instead of wars, you just give a law that gives people the pass to kill themselves and watch the population self-reduction, self-reform itself. Okay? Putting laws like that allows people who are monitoring a genetic structure, modifying a genetic structure, so those weaknesses aren't a part of the future genetic structure. Completely engineering the human DNA genome before the soul comes in. So it's not so it's resistant to colds and flus. So it lives extremely long lives. So it doesn't experience emotional depression because it has built-in counter systems within its own hippocampus.
And it does that through instant gratification of
No, you have a DNA barrier between entering severe depression. You will produce dopamine to the level you'll be out of depression and into new subject matters. The whole point of depression is they can't produce dopamine to get out of it.
Right.
They've
So
lost the ability to.
I'm going to give you the 20,000 point view. If you have particular proclivities in the human, let's say you have 100 humans, 25 of these humans suffer a genetic anomaly that makes them have Parkinson's. Another 20%, another 20 of them have a genetic anomaly that predisposes them to depression. Okay? If I allow people to kill themselves, I know at least 5 of these people are going to choose to kill themselves. Okay? I know at least 5.
Thus eliminating from the genetic pool those DNA-based diseases.
So that when the rest of the people reproduce, the Parkinson's people are, how should I say, bred out of the society.
Outbred. Literally outbred. That is the nature of eugenics, with the manipulation of DNA afterwards. It's just like breeding the best corn, GMO corn.
GMO corn.
Concept.
That's where I brought up the instant gratification, because I just felt like, this whole process of dying, going through the grieving process. You go through the grieving process in almost every decision you make in business. You go through this process that requires you to be in each step of it.
Correct.
So as you come towards death, there's something that could be missed as you make a transition. So you make a transaction and all of a sudden, the instant gratification of just checking out, there's something not in balance here.
Sure.
Right?
The law that gives people choice to kill themselves, which is a law that's going to have moral authority over the vision of spirit.
How far we have
Yeah.
come. Do you remember a guy called Dr. Kevorkian? And they tried
Yeah.
to prosecute the guy. They tried to prosecute, and now years later, they're like, "Oh, anybody can have that right now."
Yeah.
So I'll add a little subject matter to that instant gratification death journey.
Mm-hmm.
Just like suicide, those people who are choosing the made death are going through severe post life self haunting. All the
Mhm.
reasons why they should have stayed and all the ways they could have changed that were simple processes for them that have nothing to do with counseling. They have something to do with stop looking at the negative over and over and over again, break the vicious cycle of I'm unempowered, and begin the cycle of
Mhm.
empowerment.
Understood.
And
Wow.
Enlightenment.
Yeah,
Enlightenment.
yeah. Here's the issue that I am having with a lot of um this process that we're talking about, where people choose to unalive themselves, so to speak. The process that I have a problem with is that there are many, many people who have come back from stage 1, 2, 3, 4 cancers. They came back
Mm.
from that. And this is a real thing. People
Mhm.
chose to fight and they chose to walk their way out of it. Right? Some people were not so lucky. So you have to be very careful, right? At what point in time do you initiate unaliving yourself? Is it when you walk into the physician's office and the physician says to you, you may have cancer, right? Do you
Mhm.
do it then? Do you do it after the first chemo treatment, the second chemo treatment? Do you understand where I'm coming from? At
I want to
what
add
point
some,
in time
I
do
want to add something that's very, very important.
you?
A couple weeks ago, I did a session with a mother who had a child that went through 12 rounds of chemo.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me, when do I stop? I go, you ask the child. You ask the child. Is that is that kid capable? He went through 12 rounds of chemo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? He's still alive, isn't he? Still alive.
Mm.
As a mother, as a parent, can you give up on a child?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's done all the time. Parents give up on their children all the time, and then they ungive up and bring them back in. But if a young 12-year-old kid, 9-year-old kid can survive 12 rounds of chemo, what does that say for the person who won't go through one round of chemo for the most basic of cancers that can be
Mm.
treated with outpatient chemo? Let alone the alternative. Leave the alternatives there. The alternative, whatever the allopathic says.
That is a very good point you have just made.
Yeah. I feel like the spirit just becomes that much stronger.
Yes,
You know, your spirit just is like, I'm with you here. That's my
yeah.
feeling of it.
That spirit
Yeah.
coming through and palpably being seen.
Yeah.
The doctors couldn't believe he survived 4 rounds, let alone 12.
Yeah.
The thing about it, hey Jason, you got somebody checking out for you, right? The thing about it is, when you are talking about spirituality, spirit, and all of these concepts, they don't operate when everything is hunky dory. They operate when things are bad, not when
Yeah.
things are good,
That's why the
When the
work you
moral
do
challenge is
now.
present. Yeah, when the
Yeah.
moral challenge is present.
Yeah.
right? I seem to remember reading a text where this thing where people are talking about yoga and so on, and I keep saying this, right? You see people buying the yoga mats and the Lululemon pants and so on, and forgetting that in India, how many thousands years ago, the people who were doing yoga didn't have enough food to eat. That was their escape. That's what it was created out of. They didn't have food to eat. Okay, so when you see the emaciated vegetarian who, like, the skin is hanging saggy, and so it's because they didn't have food to eat. They're not eating the cows. I mean, cows are sacred, right? And so it's in these spaces when you meet yourself and you see yourself, where you have to go past the body, where you have to go past the mind even, that you understand that spirituality may not be exactly, it's not as neat and little incense floating up to the ceiling and so on, little smudge sticks and stuff like that. Sometimes spirituality gets, a little bit grimy. And I think a lot of people, whenever they say the word spirituality, they think of like ashrams and like jasmine incense and flowers floating in water, rose petals. And there's an aspect of spirituality that is true about. But then there's an aspect of spirituality that happens in the jail cells in like the townships of South Africa, okay? Where people find themselves when they have lost themselves away in some jail somewhere without any kind of food or anything like that. So, yeah, it's not always a clean, happy experience, right?
I have a question about the death thing. This just came to me. When we're in that place, how do we decide to? Do we decide to give up? Do we decide like it's time? It's time, because there's a lot of people that hang on and hang on and hang on for days. Do we decide, or does spirit help us? The spirit and soul help us, and the ancestors and all the people.
That's a good question. Actually.
They're waiting for us. Because that's one of my questions that I always think about. Like, oh, do I make that decision?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Amy.
The power of your decision making abilities is part of your journey's answer. That just came to me.
Yeah. And so the people who choose made, is that different than when somebody's natural, like let's think of a natural death, dying on a bed or whatever in the hospital? Is that different than saying, I'm choosing this made way rather than being on my deathbed, and whether it's suffering, whether you go painless?
Here's the thing. If people know that you're going to die, they're probably going to load you up with enough drugs to make anything painless anyway, right?
Right.
My point is, I think this process that you're talking about has a lot to do with the person's attachment into this realm, right? I have seen some shit in my life. People that have no right being alive, hanging around for months, and nobody can explain how. It's because they're worried about a family member and they're not leaving. They're not leaving until the situation is resolved. I have seen people go into rooms.
Well, what if
I've seen people go into rooms and tell their parents, "It's okay, I'm gonna be okay," and they die like 5 minutes after.
Yes.
Right, and they're not conscious. They're not conscious.
Right.
They're not conscious, but they're hearing it, and the person says, "I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay. Mom, just go," and the person just dies. I'm like, what the hell? What's up with that? Right?
Yeah.
So there is a kind of hyper awareness in those states.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like that in between state. When you're like, people who are near death experiences have those. They go out and come back in.
It's funny as hell, Andrew. Yes.
No, say it. Make it, because it fits to this conversation.
What if you have a sword of Damocles hanging over your head on the road to Damascus?
It fits exactly this conversation.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't. Tell us what that means.
All right. The sword of Damocles is you're always looking for something bad to happen. It's hanging over your head. And the road to Damascus is a sudden moment of enlightenment where you shed off fear and accept faith and give up doing harm.
Correct.
Many people are in that state right now because of the extreme levels of conspiracy and paranoia injected into this world by the hyper overactive social media. Mm-hmm. They have the actual sword of Damocles hanging over their head, and they're all on a road to Damascus.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The doomers and gloomers, the ones that pray for the end of the world because they won't do the inner work.
And the ones who are working their asses off because they think it's what they have to do in order to, and I mean working their asses off, but at, I just think of people who are just doing the same old thing every day because they have to work hard.
Mhm.
It's like that slave mentality is something that fits in here.
I have a question because we're going back to the original format of the show. What is unawareness?
What is an awareness?
Yep. What is unawareness?
In its root form, it's an inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
In its rooted form, it's an inspiration that has a vision attached to it. In its form of blooming, a blooming awareness, it is a continuous cycle of rooting and derooting until one's vision forms the unlimited point of view.
How many people are living in the unlimited point of view? Guys, can you think of yourself in the unlimited point of view? Because this whole show was about the unlimited point of view, including the concept or the belief system that everything that you believe in could be just bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is your mind in the unlimited point of view? Have you seen your death process? Have you considered that everything you believe in could be bullshit? Have you understood what your morality is? Do you understand that morality for you is going to change from generation to generation, from moment to moment? Do you understand those concepts? And if you have understood those concepts, do you realize that your understanding of those concepts is going to change?
It's going to change. I was just going to say, yeah.
Since the time I said it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It already has since the beginning of the show.
The journey to the unlimited
do these
point of
kinds of
view.
shows every once in a while, right?
The journey to the unlimited point of view is based in stop arguing for your limitations and accepting the unlimited point of view. There will be starts and stops in the unlimited point of view based off of your perception and expectations. And where perceptions no longer have deception filters through limitations, the unlimited point of view is in potential, but we must still act through it.
Agreed.
Nicely said.
Yeah.
So you guys who are in the chat, we're coming to the end of the show right now. Apart from you guys who probably hate us right now for all of those mind-bending questions, was the show helpful to you? Was it helpful to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it helpful to you? Right? Notice that nobody's talking in the chat like, no, we actually hate you guys. I will never watch another one of those shows again.
I got a going away question for you. It's both a business and a spirit form.
Sure.
How much would you pay to learn the unlimited point of view?
Can't put a price on it.
In business, we all are doing it in our own way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I'm actually calling it the unlimited point of view from Living the Mystical Life Daily. How do you sell the unlimited point of view, and how do people pay for it and learn it and respect it? Because it is a journey that has reality for a lot of people who are spiritual business presenters.
There is so much in the addendum of that question, because putting a price on the unlimited point of view is in itself a problem. It's problematic because it could be worth 2 cents to someone and it could be worth $1 billion to another. It's unlimited.
But those that worth it as 2 cents will only get a 2-cent teaching out of it.
Yes.
I had to go through this exact journey when I sat down with my marketing guy. And he goes, what is it that you're presenting that's different from the others? I'm selling the unlimited point of view. I'm selling the whole journey of self-illumination that you got to do it yourself. He's like,
for those of you who are watching, that guy no longer works with Andrew. For those of you watching, that guy fired Andrew. Like, what the hell? This is what you're giving me? Like, I don't even know where to start with this, right?
Yeah, you get what you pay for, I guess, maybe, right?
How do you?
Then I worked through it with Satya also, and he's like, "Damn, how do you actually go through that journey?" And ultimately, it came down to what we called the 99-cent teaching. Here's your 99-cent teaching, and then I'm going to market you another 99-cent teaching, and then give you two free 99-cent teachings until I've earned $99.99 off of you.
The problem with that product is that you have to market it in different dimensions.
Yes, I know. That was the whole point. You use marketing to your advantage to give 99-cent teachings until you have your $99.99 teaching or your $9.99 teaching. all marketing, because how does one accept enlightenment in this world of what? Supermarket, mass informational supermarket. And how do you market the unlimited point of view in 2 sentences?
I can.
Mm.
I can. Welcome to my product. It is a non-product. Done.
Done product.
Welcome to my product. It is a non-product. Listen, guys, when it comes to this kind of stuff, do you guys think about it? How would you market the unlimited point of view? Please put your comments in the
Mm.
put your ideas in the descriptions and the comments below. We will be doing another one of these shows one of these days. You know, the mind bending shows to run you up against your belief systems, which we affectionately term run you up against your BS. BS standing for belief system and everything else that it stands for, because we're on an unlimited point of view, right? So it could stand for bullshit, it could stand for belief system, who knows, right? Sliding scale, as Tina Teen says. So
Mhm.
we've come to the end of our show, guys. First of all, Amy Kruzik, tell these
Yeah.
people how they can get a hold of
Ooh.
you on Holly Hobby.
Oh yeah, Holly. Okay, so I have a show called Unscripted where a guest comes on, like Jason, like Andrew, like David, and I ask a question and we chat about it for like 20 minutes. That's it. So if you would like to be a guest, let me know. You can message me through Facebook or at pinkmoonlodgepodcast@gmail.com.
Jason, talk to us about yourself. He has the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for now, don't worry about finding me. I'll find you.
Oh,
Ooh.
Indiana Jones level. All right, Andrew Bartzis, talk to me.
You can go to my website, andrewbartzis.com. You can look at all our various products. We are doing sessions, and we do a show every Thursday, which is a informational show. We also do a Friday night game stream for those that want to learn about entertainment for spiritual people and not have a stick up your ass.
Very good.
Mhm.
And for me, if you want your mind bent some more
Yeah.
and you want a difficult question dropped into your email box, you can always just email me at info@universalcitizentv.com, right? If this wasn't enough for you. So, guys, we'll come to the end of our show. We will be talking to you guys and seeing you guys in the near future or in the distant future, because any possibility is happening, because it's all happening right now.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the possibilities are infinite. And with that, we say adieu.
Wow.
Adieu.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.